Hello, welcome along. Right, we're just going to do a video on, well, refreshing an edge, having a look at an edge that started tugging. It started tugging and then I stropped it, come back, I don't know, 3 or 4 shaves later, it's just not shaving right. And I can remember when I first honed it, I thought it had a little bit more to give. So we're going to have a little look at the edge, just have a look at the edge under the scope, see what we've got, see what we're working with. There we go. Right. So, well, on the face of it, it looks very, very good, doesn't it? Yeah, you can see a tiny bit of sort of shadowing on the very edge, I reckon. Yep. But on the whole, very good. There's a tiny, tiny bit of the apex just sort of missing there. Yeah, so there is a few little tiny bits here and there. Looks like my stropping's on point though, doesn't it? The strops are definitely not damaging it. Right, so today I've got a 1500 stone. It's new to me. I've been wanting to get one of these for a while, and like long and short of it, I bought 4 Shaptons to get this stone, and I'll just sell the other 3 stones, and I should be able to get this stone for a little bit less than what I would have got it for new, if you know what I mean. But normally when I refresh a razor, I wouldn't be taking it down to this stone. But because it's a new stone, and because I want to make sure I've got a really good set bevel, I'm going to take it down to this one just for a few laps. Make sure the very edge of the bevel, the very point, the apex is, well, hitting basically. Oh, by the way, this is a very special razor. It's a Kikuokan. Probably saying that a bit wrong, but it's just beautiful, really is. It's a number 48, and then on the little tang here, it's got stamp Tamahagni, which means special metal. Well, precious metal, special metal in Japanese. It's just a wonderful razor. I can't believe how I found that as well. I bought it in a job lot, and I could see it, but well, the photos weren't good or anything. I was just really, really lucky I was. It's definitely one of my best razors. I love my Japanese razors. It's always a good day when I get a Japanese razor out. So as you can see, it's running the water really nice. I've been wanting to get the 1500 grit stone for a while, because the 1000 grit stone can be a bit rough. Like, you can actually get a very slight form of micro chipping when I zoom sort of as close as I can in with my scope. And the 2000 is what I set bevels on. Rough bevel settings, my 1000. So I was just thinking, well, I'll get this, and it just bridges it a bit. You know, sometimes I get razors in that have got no chips. So that means I can probably just go straight on this, really. Just another stone in it. God, you'll find an excuse, I tell you. Right, let's have a quick look, see what it's doing. Like I said, I don't really need to go down to that stone. I probably could have very likely done it off of, hang on, let's put the old stamp in quick. Look at that, look. Look at the detailing on that. Quite fond of stamps and stuff. Right, so yeah, look, right in the middle of the screen there, you can see we're hitting the very apex right there, aren't we? So that's good. From that side on the heel, yeah, we're doing something, can it? It's scratching, it's doing something. We can see the serrations. Let's have a quick look at the other side. So again, yeah, let's try and get it in the middle so I can say. There you go, right in the middle there, you can see where the bevel starts and stops the old and new. So that's good, all the way along, is it? Yeah. Right, so that is good. Right, well, we don't need to do no more on that. Like I said, I didn't really need to do it. But because I've touched that now, we're going to have to use the 2000. One of my most favourite is stones. prepped all these stones beforehand. I actually did it the other day, just because when I got those other stones in, I bought these stones because I got it from the same place I got this J-Nat and this slurry stone, like the new Shapton Pros that I don't need, and then keeping the 1500. And yeah, I bought them all together. So I started running, like flattening them with my Diaflat lapping plate, DNT, and every single one of them weren't flat. So the gent who'd got them, he got them purposely to hone a razor, J-Nat and all, and none of them were flat. Like none of them. Like the J-Nat weren't flat. They had like a spot all the way down, going long ways all the way down. Every single Shapton Pro, they're relatively flat out of factory. They really are. And he'd only used them once, and well, you could tell he barely used them at all. So they're all flat now. They've all got their corners rounded off. They've all got their edges rounded off, which is quite important, especially these edges. The corners don't really matter too much, but the edges need to be rounded off. Just stops any mishaps that can occur. Yeah, so it was interesting, right? Because he'd not prepped the stones. Because like when they're new, they've almost got like a finish that is not conducive to getting the best edges off a razor. You know, you've got to fettle your edges. Like I always use my Diaflat, which is a very, very old, like it's like well over 10 years old. It's pretty more like over 15 now. But it still cuts, but it cuts a lot more gentle than it was sort of envisioned. I probably will get another one of them at the end of this year. I've seen a 90 micron one, so that's bloody rough. But I could use that one to get the bulk of it down, and then use my old one to just sort of smooth it out a bit. And then after I flattened them, I always use this, just go around the edges, corners. And it does, it's like, you know, you can't even feel nothing really. And then you've got a nice surface, then you're ready. You can go straight off of that Diaflat, but I wouldn't do it on the finishers. But if I know I've got a bit of a razor that needs a bit of material off, if I activate my 1000 grit with the lapping plate, it does seem to cut a bit quicker. It does help. Very, very lightly. Just go kind of one more lap of doing these nice little rolling V's. Make sure we're hitting all the edge. Then I probably could just go backwards and forwards. This razor is just beautifully made. It really has. Whoever made this razor, he really knew what he was at. Right, so again, let's just have another quick look, just so we can have a gander. Yeah, very nice. That is very nice as well, isn't it? You can see it's almost a bit frosty, the 2000 on some metals. And this is certainly some of the best metal razor Land's ever seen. A long time ago I honed this now though, so I can't quite remember the nuances of what I was struggling with at the time, but if I was going to guess, I'd say it was my toe. Don't know actually, could be the heel. Let's just give it a few more on the heel there. On one side the water's not running as great as the other. Right, let's go to the 5. And the 5 is traditionally what I'd sort of start the refresh process on, really. But normally anyway, you know, if I've looked at it and there's no tiny little micro nicks or anything like that, I very rarely start at the 8000, to be honest. But I know a lot of people can and do, and they get good results and whatnot. I'm not knocking at all. but I generally go to the 5, assess the bevel, make sure I've got no microchips, and then go back up to the 8 and sometimes the 12. Couldn't have rinsed that one off properly. See, because I've got a 1500 now, it means I should be doing a lot less laps on my 2000, which kind of almost translates, you should be doing less laps on the 5 as well on the whole. Yeah, you don't really see too many of these Kikuokans. There's another mate called Kikuboshi. I think I'm saying that, well, like, you know, my pronunciation's probably wrong, but and I've got 2 of them. I think one of them needs a touch up actually. I'm having a bit of a touch up week, sorting out edges that shave just a little tiny bit subpar and whatnot. Because this is such a special razor to me, is you do your just, well, your best, like, you know, like I must admit, like I always give my razors, even if I know from the outset it's just one that I'm gonna like sell, flip, whatever you want to call it. You know, all my razors get quite a lot of attention, but sort of some razors, they just demand a little bit more sort of finesse, concentration, and this is definitely one of them. This is, you know, I could only find one more for sale. It certainly weren't in the condition this was in. This was in, I believe, Noz. I don't think it had been shaved with. After I hand polished it and everything, it just looked new. It did have some sort of like corrosion type marring, but yeah, it weren't. I don't think it was from use. I think it was just sort of atmospheric. You can quite literally feel that that's changed as we've done these laps. It feels very sort of smoother now. Feedback's like sort of less. It's just where it's cut the old serrations out. I've tested all those other stones as well, so there's a 5000, there's an 8000 and there's a 12000, and I quite literally run that crown and sword razor after I'd done the DMT plate. So I've done the DMT plate, lapping plate. I've tested them and they're not, you know, they're doing what they should be doing. And then I've used the little diamond plate that you've just seen there, just to fettle them a little bit more. So whoever gets them will be getting a better edge than what I did on the testing, if you know what I mean. Nice and smooth. I had somebody from Israel message me this week as well about acquiring a razor. I don't think I've ever sent a razor to Israel. There's not many countries, sort of, you know, like the big sort of countries we call them, that I've not sent a razor to, but Israel is definitely one of them. he said he's happy to wait because I've got a couple more razors coming in hopefully this week. Can have more of a pick. Right, that feels like it's done. And you can see that, so traditionally when I go from my 1000 to my 2000 to this, I get more, you know, like, well, marking and metal fibres in my sort of slurry, if you want to call it that. But as you can see, there's like nothing. So is that because it's super steel? It is definitely super steel, because even though this is a proper sort of, well, what would you call that, lads? Like, to me that's a hollow, but it's got a thickness to it. I'll tell you what it is though, it's bloody beautiful. Sad, isn't it? I know it's only a razor, but to me, the only thing it lacks is gimping on the top. Right. Picky. Right. Let's see what we've got here. This should be shining up nicely now, really. First phase of shining. Let's get the stamp in just because I want it. Right. Little stamping embellishments. Right, yeah. Well, we've got a good bevel, haven't we, here, eh? That's sort of one of the best I see. So whatever I did to it before, I did a relatively good job. That's just paid due attention to this toe. If anything, look, I'd say it's missing the very tip there, but I'm not going to worry about that because I'll probably get it going forward a bit. Yeah, it's a good show of 5000. Starting to shine it up. Can't see any shadowing at all. Yeah, I think that's pretty much safe to move forward. We'll just give it a few, just because we can. Trying out a little different angle with the cameras today, so hopefully it's done what it's meant to be doing. We'll see. If you don't see it in an editing, like a little, I've got a camera there now as well, but if it don't work you won't see it. Fingers crossed, be positive. Let's try and tease that toe a little bit. Can probably get it more on the next stone as well though, because whatever it is, it's definitely not far because it's a lovely straight line. There's no real sign of it curly whirling up. Excited to shave it again. I'll tell you, when you get this razor out to shave, it's a bloody good day. It really is a good day. I might pit it against my old Dorco 14, see how it performs against that Wonder. Always make sure you've got dryish hands. Yeah, it's already a bit sticky one side. tape I'm using is just called Captain. Very thin tape, but it's relatively robust as well. It really is. It lasts a little while, even on the 1000. I'm not somebody that generally uses a lot of tape past the 2000, but because this is a refresh job, I thought, well, let's just make it a bit easier for myself. So because I've made the angle, so what I've done, I've brought the spine out, so I'm coming from, I've created a larger angle, I believe, and I think I have, but just barely, completely unnoticeable. You could see from those microscope shots it was hitting sort of the whole of the bevel, wasn't it, straight away. You know, if that was out by quite a bit still, you'd have had some of the bevel on the height towards the spine, we call it, showing, but you could see it was still hitting, well, the whole of the bevel pretty much straight away, so you know it ain't been out much. Sort of feels like it's ready. Can't beat a shoulderless, a stabiliserless Japanese razor, you really can't. And thankfully they loved them themselves, so they made a tremendous amount of them. I will get another nice Japanese razor this year. I want either a wedge, a more wedge type one, or, well, I've got an eye on a couple of sort of makes that I want. Right, I think we'll have a look at this one once we've gone this cycle of laps. Yeah, like you can see on the end where it's not really hitting, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm not somebody that plays about with the toe end too much. I do use that end, obviously, kind of around my ears a little bit, but it's not something that see that side, look, it's hitting lovely. So what side is that? That's that way, so it's there. So we concentrate, we do a few laps sort of concentrating on that little area. So I'm barely putting any pressure with my finger there at all. But I'm just trying to, like, I'm not torquing the razor either really. I'm just trying to encourage it to possibly get down on the stone. We'll have a little look. Like I said, I'm not too bothered, but while I'm here we might as well try, haven't we? But it's important not to torque the razor, especially if the razor is just wonderful as it is. You know, like some razors, you have to sort of torque a little bit if you've got a bit of a rocker or a roller and you want to do it that way. One of my mates on YouTube and also on Reddit, like, he's been doing some videos about correcting the spine and everything, and I must say he's pretty good at it. So if you need to correct any spine, I'll push you towards him. Yeah, it's really biting now, that is. You can really feel it, especially this coming towards me. That's really grabbing. Feels lovely. Not juddery at all either, just almost like it's been sucked to the stone. It is starting to do it a little bit the other side. You're just refining the edge now. That's all you should be thinking. I'm just refining the edge now. You know, like when you get to the 5,000, that's when you start doing a bit of polishing. Start doing your real sort of refining your apex. Like I said many times before, if you've got really good steel, razor steel, the 2000 will tell you that, because you'll just start getting a really nice apex at the 2000. You'll lose all the toothiness, whereas the 1000, it can, like I said before in the last video, it can be a bit toothy, which is almost a form of microchipping really. But it is razor dependent, whether it's steel, whether it's temper, whether it's both. Probably both, eh? Right, let's just have another quick look at this, and I think we're going to take it up to the 12. Now we'll take this up to the 12, just because it's one of my most favourite razors. Yes, 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 yes. Let's have a bit of fluff on it. Yeah, see, by putting that pressure on it, I think it's chased it a tiny bit, but barely. So it was barely worth doing, was it? Somebody was asking me the other day about like the feel of natural stones to synthetics and stuff. It's a very subjective kind of thing really, isn't it? It's quite hard to almost explain in a way. But you do get more feel, don't you, off the naturals? I think you do. They are more fun, I think. My 2000 though, it's got really good feedback and feel to me, because some people say that ain't got much feel. The stone that I don't like the most out of my Shapton Pros, what's that? I'm a bit meh with this stone sometimes, because it's almost like glass. It depends though, like, you know, if you give it a good few of them, it kind of comes back to you, which it is at the moment. See, that's really sucking on that side on there. And yeah, see, because I've prepped this stone relatively recently, so in a way it's a little bit rough, but not rough. It feels better, but after you run a few razors on it, it kind of loses that a little bit. I'll get bored of my 1000 a little bit, but it's because I'm just in the grinding phase. But naturals are just more fun, aren't they? You know, you can play with them, you've got more things to learn, you never really stop learning off of them really. And the feedback's great. Like one of my razor friends, Sean, how you doing, bud? If you see this, you know, he's definitely biting. Do some nice long ones and then definitely a hard razor though, mate, it really is, because, well, I've been playing, what have I been playing with this week? Well, the Puma a bit, which was quite hard still, that was, because that was teamed up with a Freador. But even onto the 12,000, you know, it was leaving, like, you know, traces of metal filings, and but this one's done none, is it? You know, past the 1500, I keep nearly saying 1.5. It's not a 1.5 stone, is it? Yeah, that is biting now, though, that really is. That's grabbing. Some kind of like little extra light ones. And yeah, I didn't finish what I was saying because I got a bit involved in how it was grabbing, but yeah, he had a level 5 J nat and he sold it because he felt that, well, I call them a little tiny bit soulless, because they are. Like my one is, it's not the most funnest one, but then I say that, and once you play about with the Nigoras and whatnot, it does get fun. But yeah, as a bare base stone, the level 5s are just, because I believe the one I've got is probably more like 5.5. Because I've had like a 4.5 which was softer than that one, and that's meant to be a 4.5, so I reckon that was probably a little bit softer than 4.5. I've had this 4.5, I've had that 4, but I reckon that's less than 4. And then I've got my 5, but I reckon it's more like 5.5. And if you don't use any slurry with it at all, not even its own, it's just like glass. But it is doing it is, you know. But it's not got much feedback when it's just water on its own. I'm yet to run all my slurry stones over it, so I will though. I'm going to concentrate on my stones sort of next couple of months, because I've got loads untested. I've bought another couple this week that are coming, a bit of a mystery lot, so whether they're even razor hones, I don't know. Advertised as that, but that don't mean nothing. Right, I think I'm going to have a little look at this. It feels lovely now, like in terms of kind of biting. Yeah, that's what I expect from a 12,000, that is. It really has got rid of a lot of the serrations this time around. I was doing a razor in the week, and even when it got right up to the 12,000, it just had quite a lot of serrations still in it. Yeah, it's missing the toe that side a little tiny bit. Let's have a quick look at the other side. But it's hitting it proper that side. So even if you get it really good one side, it's still shave alright. Obviously you don't want that whole razor though, because it won't, it'll be a bit tuggy. But you can really get away with it on little tiny spots like that. Yeah. Yeah. There's a tiny couple of little niggles there though, isn't there? Can you see them? They are really small. And sometimes you only see them when it gets to the really high grits. Let's just give it a few more laps. They won't affect the shave. Little isolated bits like that. But yeah, sometimes you only can really see those bits. And I think it is the old magnifying effect, like. Because if you were just using a ×10 lope, which is plenty good enough for what you need to see, you wouldn't see them. I might actually, yeah, I'm going to put this against my Dorco. Give my Dorco a good old strop. That's got about 6 shaves on my Dorco now. 5 or 6 I believe. And if you do get up to this stage and you've got any sort of micro chips that you think are going to affect the edge, don't bother thinking that you'll be able to sort it out on the 12. I ain't kidding you, only up to about half a year ago I was still doing that, just because I'm forever the optimist. It is a complete waste of time. You'll be there a month on Tuesdays, and you've got to bite the bullet, man, and just go back. You can get away with the 5,000 and then go up again. But a lot of the time I just bang it into the 2,000 now if I get to the high grits and I've noticed that. It's normally only a couple of whirls, a few laps. Because especially the 12,000, it just don't really take nothing off. It really is a polisher. I was looking at like the Shapton, because I ain't actually got a complete set, have I? Because I ain't got the 30,000, but I was looking at that the other day. Bloody money it is. I just don't quite get what it actually do further than this. Well, I understand, you know, how to make it more shiny, but right, let's see if we can. Yeah, see what I mean? They're still there, them tiny little bits. Well, I know for a fact if it don't shave right, it's because of them, innit? But I reckon it'll be alright. Give it a stropping. I can only really find them one side. Is that on there? Tiny little bit there, isn't there? Yeah. Just a few watermarks there. Right, yeah, that's it. We're gonna just go up to the J-nut now, innit? It's the fun part. It's the true finishing. So it's a bit of a clonker. Real nice thickness to it. What we got? About 35mm. It's about 55mm across. Forget how long it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So it's about 210mm. but it's a nice stone. Like I said, I'm yet to lacquer it, but shouldn't be a problem. I've been liking going from that side. It tilts that way a little bit, so the water's kind of coming towards the hand I'm using today. Like I said, I've run a razor over it already. Shave with it. It's definitely not microchipping at all. So it's 100% sort of razor safe at this stage in its life. You know, I could always flatten it in it, something, but looking at the sides and, well, looking at everything about it, it don't even look like there's a possibility of that so much. All just looks like one sort of stone, one colour. Stuck. Kind of doing like a bit of a rolling sort of V in a way, I suppose. It'd have been nicer if it was about 10mm wider for me. Means I could just treat it as all my other stones, but because it's just that little tiny bit narrower than what I'm used to. You see how that colour's changed already though? It's got way more of sort of a, well, it's almost like a blackness to it straight away. So that's got to be the razor. Nice feedback, lovely feel to it, quite silky, little tiny bit of drag. I don't know if you can hear it, but it makes a nice sound and all. The slurry stone smells a bit like my soft jainet. Mrs caught me smelling the stones the other day. She gave me a worried look. Kind of razor that just wants to get sharp, this one. Like I said, whoever made it. Feel it change as it goes, sort of more diluted. You can feel the difference. I think it's almost making a different sound as well, like the pitch changes. Kind of moving into no slurry territory now. Nothing's really showing on the blade. I'll do this a few more goes. It definitely feels quite a bit different now. The drag's less. Creaminess has gone a little bit. Still nice though, still nice feedback. Definitely makes a different noise as well. Got some nice patterns come out when it actually gets going. Takes a little while for some of them to come out. If it was a nice sunny day, it'd ping a bit more. But we've certainly not got a nice sunny day today. It is what we call in England a grotty. Very grotty. Right, let's have a look at that. Yeah, that's a lovely frosted edge. See if we can find our little divots. There we go. Can barely see him now. It does do a little bit of extra work, the Jane, that's I find, or any natural stone really, but right, I'm going to leave it as that. I'm going to go and strop it. And I look forward to the shave. So there we are, a Kikuokan, Tamahagni steel, registered trademark, Tokyo, Japan, number 48. See you later, lads. Toodaloo. Hello. Just back again to show you how it's popping hairs really. I just it's a non-pasted strop, the one that I've just done the leather on. It's just popping all the way along. I do think the heel was the problem area, but it's only having to look at it really, and it's even when the hair's on its side and not going down. So hopefully it's going to be back to shaving lovely. Toodaloo lads, see ya.